It's been around a week since Bilt 2.0 launched, and I have made a couple of videos on it. And actually, I made 4 videos on Bilt so far out of my last 5 videos, and I was done talking about Bilt. But this new Bilt 2.0 Bilt Cash announcement has everyone up in arms, and for fairly good reasons. This announcement is something that definitely should have been announced with the original Bilt 2.0 lineup, and while people I think would have been mad about it, it's just the fact that we have had Bilt 2.0, Bilt 2.1, the Redux, and Bilt 2.2, the Bilt Cash update. Things are getting a little crazy here, so let's go into what Bilt Cash really is. So the Bilt CEO came out on Reddit and made an announcement about how we can redeem our Bilt Cash. So if you don't remember, you can earn 4% Bilt Cash on everyday purchases on all 3 Bilt cards. What this is a second currency next to Bilt points that will unlock your rent spend. Now there are a couple different options with the Bilt program. You can either go with one option where you do not earn any Bilt Cash on the everyday spend and have your rent spend be unlocked directly through how much money you're putting on the card each month. But for the original option, and what I think most people are going to go with, there is an option where you can earn 4% Bilt Cash on every single purchase. Which, on its face, having a 4% Bilt Cash on all of your purchases, stack that on top of the Bilt Palladium's 2x on everything, or the Bilt Obsidian's 3x on dining or grocery, it sounds like you're having a very high return on spend. And just to highlight, Bilt Cash is earned alongside Bilt points, so not in place. You will receive both currencies on every single purchase. And another way to get Bilt Cash is you will earn $50 in Bilt Cash for every 25,000 Bilt points earned toward status. And that announcement on its own sounds super cool. I'm going to get 2x Bilt points on my Palladium. I'm going to get my 4x Bilt Cash that I'm going to be able to use. They announced that you can use your Bilt Cash to unlock your rent points. If your rent was $1,000, it would cost 30 Bilt Cash in order to unlock those 1,000 Bilt points that you would get for your rent. And again, that number would scale up, so $2,000 in rent every month would require $60 in Bilt Cash. And if you only had $5 in Bilt Cash, you can unlock some points there. And it seemed complicated, but after a few days, I think most people got it, and people started running the math to say, hey, does this make sense? What other options are there for me to use Bilt Cash? Maybe Bilt is actually a better program if you aren't using your Bilt Cash to unlock your rent points. So they announced a bunch of different options for you to use your Bilt Cash. And the one that stuck out to me and to most people, I think, was being able to use your Bilt Cash in the Bilt travel portal. So many of us got excited. Bilt has the home away from home program, kind of like MX's FHR or Chase's The Edit, and people got excited. I made videos saying, hey guys, the Bilt refresh is not bad because this is a great use case to stack on your Bilt Palladium credit. You can use your $200 Bilt Palladium hotel credit, stack a bunch of Bilt Cash on there, and get some awesome value. Well, now that we know actually how we can use our Bilt Cash, but I'm sorry to say that the haters were right. Bilt Cash is kind of ass. So again, let's take a look here at what Bilt Cash can be used for. So you can use $120 of Bilt Cash a year towards grocery or restaurant delivery fulfilled via Grubhub. This is a $10 credit that you can do monthly. Basically, you'll go into the Bilt app, there'll be some type of portal where you can, hey, I want to use 10 Bilt Cash towards a Grubhub credit. I'll unlock the credit, it'll be valid for a month, and then the next time you use it at Grubhub, boom, you'll save $10. Again, a monthly credit. We don't like those with Amex, we don't like those with Chase, not going to like them with Bilt. But if you're someone that is Grubhubbing regularly, hey, $10 is $10. Another $5 GoPuff credit that you can use every single month, as well as $100 towards GoPuff Fam. And again, these are not credits that you can just use whenever. You have to actually have enough Bilt Cash to use these credits. So again, for some people, maybe GoPuff Fam is something you're already buying. So hey, I got $100 in Bilt Cash. That's $100 not coming out of my bank account. So for some people, some of these things might work. And I was on a live stream last night with Points with Philip, Anthony Venture, and Danielle Sparks. And I really liked Points with Philip's kind of analogy. Bilt Cash really is a choose your own adventure book. As we get into some more of these things, you'll kind of see things that, hey, maybe this works for me. This definitely doesn't work for me. And I think that's kind of the best, most charitable way to look at Bilt Cash, but let's keep going. You can also use $300 of Bilt Cash per year at select Bilt dining partners. Again, this is a $25 a month credit, kind of like the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliance $25 a month credit, but it has to be used with select Bilt dining partners. Those I don't think have been announced yet. And again, $600 towards a dining experience. Again, $50 a month, and that won't be available until March. So again, lots of monthly credits that aren't super high. You're not going to be able to blast $600 of Bilt Cash in a month if that's how much you have. But let's get to what some people are seeing as the most interesting use case for Bilt Cash. So if you are selecting that option where you are earning 4% Bilt Cash on everyday spend, you can unlock what is called a point accelerator on everyday spend. So you can enable 1x bonus points on all everyday spend for the next $5,000 following activation, exclusively available to Obsidian and Palladium card holders. The cost is $200 in Bilt Cash, and you can make 5 activations annually, and it expires after you make $5,000 in spend or the calendar year ends. So when the Obsidian earnings are enabled, you'll earn 4x dining or grocery, 3x travel, and 2x everyday spend. And if you use the point accelerator on the Palladium, earnings will be at 3x everywhere. Now this is a very interesting concept. Earning the 3x on everything with the Palladium is awesome, and then having your Obsidian card become your catch-all card can also be very interesting. Have that be 2x, again 4x dining grocery, 3x travel. That is a very interesting value proposition. But when you really break down the math, I do not think this option is as appealing as it first seems. Because the cost is $200 in Bilt Cash, you are spending $200 in Bilt Cash to effectively earn just an extra 5,000 Bilt points. That is effectively valuing Bilt Cash at 0.25 cents per point. And anyone in the credit card game knows that you really want to target 1 cent per point at least for all of your points. So that sounds like a very bad redemption. However, if you're not going to get much value from some of these other credits, maybe like the Bilt Dining Partners or GoPuff or Grubhub, maybe you don't need to value Bilt Cash at 1 cent per point. Again, you're going to get a 1 cent per point redemption for, some of these other things and some of the things that we'll go over later. So if that naturally works for you, then I think, you can value that at maybe 1 cent per point. But if you're going out of your way to use Grubhub and you're maybe spending more on Grubhub than you normally would, or you're only making that purchase because it's on GoPuff, I think that can also be dangerous. So for people who just want simplicity and say, I don't really care about Bilt Cash, I'll just take my 5,000 extra points. Once you make that $5,000 in spend, you'll have another $200 worth of Bilt Cash because 4% of $5,000, 200 Bilt Cash, and then boom, you can activate it again. And you can do this over and over again throughout the year. So if you're someone who puts $25,000 on their catch-all card, it's effectively a 3x card. Again, the math dictates that Bilt Cash is only worth 0.25 cents per point. But if you're redeeming that for very high-end Hyatt hotels, or if you really just don't care about valuing the Bilt Cash, I think this is a great option. And if you have enough Bilt Cash, again, I think this is something that I might even consider using when I get my Bilt Palladium card. I think it all depends on how much Bilt Cash someone can generate, because it is important to note that all Bilt Cash except for $100 expires at the end of the calendar year. So you might be saving your Bilt Cash, but if you are earning a ton of Bilt Cash and you can't spend it, I think this is a great option, and it might just be the easiest and most simplest use of Bilt Cash. So I'm not going to say this change is terrible, but most of these other credits are kind of terrible. But I think this one is at least interesting. All right, moving on to travel and transportation, you can use Bilt Cash in the Bilt Travel Portal, 2-night minimum, up to $50 a month for Blue and Silver members, and $100 a month for Gold and Platinum members. This is the saddest information of the entire announcement. Things are complicated, things are messy, but I've been trying to weed through all the Bilt 2.0 news and just say, hey, Bilt Palladium credit, home away from home collection, stack with Bilt Cash, insane value proposition. Well, once I finish my sign-up bonus, get all my Bilt Cash and my gold status, it's basically a $300 credit if I combine those two, which is still better than the CSR's edit credit. I think that's more than the Amex's FHR. I don't know how many hotels are in Bilt's Home Away from Home collection. I think they announced that they'll be adding more throughout the year, but this is what hurts the most, because even if Bilt Cash could be used maybe a cap of $1,000 a year and maybe $300 per usage, I think that even that would be awesome, because if you're generating enough Bilt Cash and maybe that if there was a $300 cap a month, I think that would be probably the best use case of Bilt Cash. And I would even say the Bilt Palladium quickly becomes one of the best high-end credit cards in the entire game. But with this $100 cap, I think it's still okay, and I'm still leaning towards using that as a redemption I have planned. It really just kind of knocks the wind out of my sails personally for the card. I know there's a lot of people out there saying Bilt is dead, Bilt is dead. And it's not dead, it's just complicated, and for some people a lot worse. I think if you really want to extract value out of the Bilt program, you're going to extract a lot of value out of the Bilt program. Are there better ways to do it? For some people, yes. For other people, this may be your best option, and you really have to run the math and run the different scenarios. But Unfortunately for me, my hype for Bilt 2.0 is officially gone. Again, I'll probably still use this same exact redemption to get $300 off a 2-night stay in the Home Away from Home collection, just not as good as I was hoping it was going to be. Again, another change that I think might be good and interesting depending on the situation is unlocking higher transfer bonuses. In the past, your transfer bonus has been connected to what your status is. So if you're a Bilt Blue member, you'll have the lowest level of transfer bonus. And if you're the Bilt Platinum member, then hey, you're gonna have the highest transfer bonus, maybe all the way up to 100%. You can now use your Bilt Cash to say, even if you're a Bilt Blue member, to upgrade yourself. Give me that Bilt Gold transfer bonus. Or if you're a Bilt Gold, hey, give me that Bilt Platinum status transfer bonus. Again, the price here, it says it's $75 Bilt Cash, but that pricing and availability is subject to change. So I do expect these numbers to get tweaked a little bit because Bilt is always making changes on the fly by the seat of their pants because they are a fintech and that's what happens, but oh well. Again, moving on, $120 Lyft credit per year, again, a $10 credit towards Lyft. If you're going to buy a Lyft and you want 1 cent per point for Bilt Cash, hey, may as well use it here if you don't have any other Lyft or Uber credit. So a utility credit, I'm not going to say this is a bad credit. It can be useful, but nothing that's going to knock your socks off and make you want to get a Bilt Palladium or Bilt Obsidian card. Also, there's $150 towards Black Lane every year, basically just like a fancy limo version of Uber and Lyft. Again, $50 a year for Blue and Silver, $100 a year for Gold, $150 a year for Platinum. So if you're someone who likes Black Lane, hey, good credit for you, probably bad for most people. Up to $700 a year in Blade. So again, I want to highlight that these are not credits that you just get. You have to use $700, or in this case, $350 in Bilt Cash per booking, up to 2 bookings per year. So again, if you have a ton of Bilt Cash and you're in New York City and you want to take a Blade ride to the airport, this is probably a great YouTube video. And I do expect someone to make that YouTube video. Not me, though. And for someone who may not have Bilt Gold status, you can use $95 in cash to unlock the ability to book in the Home Away from Home collection. Again, if you are someone who likes FHR and edit redemptions, I think if you're just a Bilt Blue member, and again, you're not valuing Bilt Cash that much, I think this is a great option. Again, as Points with Philip said, this is a choose-your-own-adventure book. Is it complicated? Yes. Is it more work than it needs to be? Yes. Am I kind of sour on Bilt 2.0 when I might have been someone who's a little bit more pro Bilt 2.0? Yes. But I think that's a good use. Again, you can also use your Bilt Cash to unlock extra guests with your Priority Pass. Now, I do believe it's been announced that the Bilt Priority Pass already comes with 2 guests. So I think this is if maybe for a family of 4 or 5, hey, 2 more guest passes. So again, you can use Bilt Cash for that. That's kind of niche, but hey, it's saving $32. Pretty nice. If you're going to spend that $32 to let your kid in anyway, may as well save $32. Again, $5 a month towards Bilt neighborhood parking locations. No one cares about that. Again, $40 a month towards fitness classes in the Bilt app. $10 a month in Walgreens that you can unlock. Again, so many credits. I believe the FAQ page was 6 pages long. So, we're getting to the end here. Let's finish this up. Reading up to $50 per month for exclusive Bilt comedy experiences. Again, if you love comedy clubs and save $50, maybe you can value that at 1 cent per point. That's probably better than the points accelerator value of 0.25 cent per point. But again, do you want to go through the hassle of trying to find one that works for you? And if you're probably in the Midwest, probably not going to have any. So another thing to consider. Again, the Bilt Design Collection. So Bilt merch, basically, $10 a month. A ton of different options. Some are good, some I think are useless. But for other people, those useless things might be really important and credit they use every month. So now that we kind of know how Bilt Cash works, and if I've lost you, totally understand, because this is a ton. What do I truly think about Bilt Cash and Bilt 2.0 that's different from 48 hours ago? Well, the Bilt team has been extremely active on the internet. Lots of Reddit posts, lots of responding to comments, and while I think it's cool that a company is directly responding to some of the criticism, the fact that it's taken 2, 3, 4 different iterations of the program that they announced about a week ago is kind of concerning. Again, this is how fintechs operate, so I'm not mad. I don't think Bilt is dead or going anywhere. They're not going to declare bankruptcy and just cancel everyone's cards. I don't think we're near there yet, but it is kind of unfortunate that we've been teased with Bilt Cash. Say, hey, you can use this in the hotel portal and you can unlock outsized value. Hey, you can use it with some of our partners, and that kind of gets your gears turning, starts getting the hype up, and when they announce it, it sucks. While I was someone who didn't really initially like the Bilt 2.0 announcement, after I thought about it for a day, I started thinking about what my use case is, and at the end of the day, just give me the points, and 2x Hyatt points everywhere is a pretty decent card. I have a pretty good way to liquidate that $400 in hotel credits for full value, and at that point, can I get $95 worth of value out of Bilt Cash? Most definitely. Now that the Bilt Cash announcement has officially been made, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult. I still think the Bilt Palladium card is a great first year card. And again, if you are just looking for a grocery card and a chase setup, I think the Bilt Obsidian card is also worth it as well. But I want to get everyone's thoughts on this new Bilt Cash announcement. Did what I say make any sense? Are you confused? And are you sick of me making Bilt videos? Because I can promise you this will be the last Bilt video for a while. Unless the company explodes and goes bankrupt. I guess I'll probably have to make another video about that. But I'm done with Bilt for now. Once I get the card and I start using it, and I could give the card a proper review a few months in. But for now, let's take a few months break from Bilt and just see what it's like actually using the card. So like I said, if you've made it to the end of this video, I just want to thank you. Feel free to give it a like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hit 500 subscribers as soon as possible. I want to thank everyone who has joined the channel recently due to my Bilt coverage. Hopefully you stick around after I stop talking about Bilt and I start talking about some of the other awesome credit cards that are out there. And for some of my loyal fans, I promise we're done with Bilt for a little while. So thank you again for getting to the end of this video, and most importantly, have a great rest of your day.